High Marshal Queen Veyra's talon scraped the data slate sealing Jonah Rook's execution order. He met her golden slit-piled gaze from the tribunal floor. Restraints bit his wrists. Hold up. Skip the last meal. Give me 10 minutes and a toolkit. Gasps rippled through the chamber. Talkesh, Veyra's security captain, lunged forward, his armored crest flaring. Silence, human vermin. Your sabotage doomed our hangar fleet. Veyra raised a clawed hand. Scales along her neck ridge gleamed under the harsh lights. Speak your plea, prisoner. Make it swift. Jonah kept his voice level. That's sabotage? Not me. But I see your armor seal cracking right now. One breach under fire, and you're dead. Let me fix it. Prove my worth. Asha Ven, the armorer, snorted from her tribunal seat. Impossible. Human eyes can't detect a core microfracture. Watch me. Jonah nodded at the toolkit crate by the wall. Wrench. Sealant. 10 minutes. Veyra's mandibles clicked. She signaled Talkesh. Release him. Arm him with tools only. If he flees or strikes, end him. Talkesh unchained Jonah with a hiss. One twitch, soft skin. Jonah ignored him. He grabbed the toolkit and knelt before Veyra's dais. Her power armor loomed, a masterpiece of layered carapace plates etched with battle scars. A faint hiss escaped the shoulder joint. Nitro pressurization leaking. He popped the access panel. Gears whirred smooth under his fingers. Asha leaned in. How do you... Quiet. Torques off by 3 micra. Jonah twisted the wrench. Sealant oozed from the dispenser. Bonding instant. He cycled the joint. Hiss gone. Plate locked solid. The tribunal fell silent. Veyra flexed her arm. No grind. Full motion. It holds. Flawless. Always does. Jonah wiped his hands and stood. Now, about that execution, Talkesh growled. Clever trick. Doesn't erase the hangar. Veyra rose, towering 7 feet in her armor. Postponed.
The war front collapses.
You come with me. She clamped a gauntlet on his shoulder, firm, unyielding, and dragged him from the chamber. Jonah stumbled but matched her stride down the corridor. Alarms blared. What's burning? Enemy push. Our shield generators fail. Drones swarm. Her voice cracked with rare strain. They burst into the war room. Holomaps flickered red across collapsing sectors. Officers barked orders in guttural core tongue. Asha followed, toolkit slung over her shoulder. Talkesh shadowed, blaster drawn. Veyra shoved Jonah toward a console. Fix it, or die with the rest. He scanned the diagnostics. Power relays fried from overload. Shield grids cascading. One bad node spreads failure like dominoes. Talkesh sneered. State the obvious, human. We reroute manually. Waste of time. Jonah cracked open the nearest panel. Sparks flew. He yanked a conduit. Asha, reroute power from auxiliary bays. Bypass the failsafe. It's glitched. She hesitated, then nodded. Risky, but viable. Her claws danced over controls. Veyra watched, mandibles tight. Results. Now, Jonah spliced wires blind. Human fingers danced where core claws fumbled. Grid stabilized. Shields flared blue on the hollow. Officers cheered. Fear ebbed from their postures, but red bloomed elsewhere. Artillery batteries offline, an aide reported. Enemy heavies inbound. Jonah wiped sweat. Same issue. Overheat cascade.
Get me to the forward array.
Veyra gripped his arm, protective. Talkesh, escort. Asha, with us. They piled into a dropship. It screamed toward the front under drone fire. Explosions rocked the hull. Talkesh pinned Jonah to the bulkhead. Betray us, and I'll gut you midair. Save it for the bugs. Jonah pointed. Pilot hard right, evade that cluster. The ship banked. Drones missed. They slammed down amid trench lines. Smoke choked the air. Core soldiers fired plasma lances at swarming enemy skimmers. Jonah sprinted for the artillery bunker. Veyra covered him, her cannon barking. A skimmer exploded overhead. Inside, banks of cannons sat cold, melted circuits everywhere. 10 minutes, Jonah muttered. He tore into the master regulator. Asha, prime the coolant lines. She complied, eyes wide. Humans improvise like this, under fire? Fix or die. He jury-rigged a bypass with scrap conduits. Power surged. Cannons whirred alive. Outside, Vera bellowed orders. Talkesh laid suppressing fire. First barrage thundered. Enemy heavies vaporized. Soldiers rallied. Cheers rose. Vera yanked Jonah from the bunker as more drones dove. She shoved him behind her armored bulk. A blast scorched her pauldron. Shield held. "You're hit," he said. "Minor." She fired back, dropping 2 drones. Her claw lingered on his shoulder, warm through his jumpsuit. Talkesh landed beside them. He performs. But trust? Results build trust. Vera's gaze locked on Jonah. Golden eyes softened a fraction. "You fight like one of us." Jonah grinned amid the chaos. "Nah, I just fix what breaks." Alarms spiked again. Hollow feed from the war room patched through Vera's helm, main command shield buckling. Enemy breakthrough imminent. Vera's crest flared. "We return. Fix the heart, human." Dropship engines roared. Jonah braced as they lifted. Talkesh watched him now with grudging nod. Asha clapped his back. "You're no vermin." Back in the war room, the grid pulsed critical. Jonah dove under the core console. Vera stood guard, deflecting aides' doubts with glares. "Core flux capacitors warped," he called. "Need a welder." Asha tossed one. He fused the plates. Stabilized. Shields locked firm. Front held. Vera exhaled. She pulled him up. Claws gentle on his arms. Bodies close in the press. Her scent hit him. Ozone and spice. "You turned fear to steel. Why aid enemies?" Jonah shrugged. Wars end faster fixed than fought. Besides, stubborn beats scared. Her mandibles brushed his ear. Whispered, "Prove it further. Stay at my side." Talkesh stiffened but held his tongue. Asha smirked. The queen chooses wisely. Explosions faded outside. Trust sealed in action. But the holo flashed new red. Enemy flagship decloaking. Bigger threat loomed. Vera's claws dug into Jonah's shoulder. "Move, human." Walker 3's heart stopped. "Restart it, or I end you myself." Jonah stumbled after her through the trench. Shells whistled overhead. Mud sucked at his boots. Her guards flanked them, plasma rifles hot. Talkesh brought up the rear, his optics locked on Jonah's back. They reached the walker, a hulking beast of alloy and hydraulics, knee-deep in cratered earth. Its legs splayed limp. Cannon turret drooped like a broken neck. Crew lay scattered, carapaces cracked from enemy fire. Vera shoved Jonah forward. "Now, or your blood feeds the soil." Jonah dropped to his knees beside the access hatch. He pried it open with a grunt. Sparks spat from fried circuits. Power conduits glowed dull red. Starved. "Flux relays blown," he muttered. "Main bus severed." Asha Van appeared from the smoke, lugging a toolkit. Her engineer stripes gleamed under grime. "Scraps all we got. Enemy already inbound, 5 mics." Vera's crest flared crimson. "Less talk. Power it." Jonah scanned the wreckage. A snapped power cable dangled from the core. Nearby, a shattered comms relay sparked feebly. He yanked it free, stripped its coils with his multi-tool. Perfect gauge. Talkesh leveled his rifle. Barrel inches from Jonah's neck. He delays. Execute him. Vera's mandible clicked. He fixed the shields. "Watch." Jonah ignored the muzzle's heat. He fished scrap wire from the crew's pouches, insulated remnants from a gutted drone, twisted it to the relay's innards, rerouted the flow. Relay's capacitor bridged the bus, crude bypass, but it would hold. Sweat stung his eyes. He slammed the panel shut. "Hit the aux trigger." Asha flipped the switch. The walker shuddered. Hydraulics whined to life. Legs straightened with a metallic groan. Turret swiveled. Cannon charging blue. Vera's optics widened a fraction. "It lives." Talkesh snarled. "Trick. Sabotage later." His finger tightened on the trigger. Jonah vaulted into the cockpit. Strapped in, console lit green. Not a trick. Get in or die out there. Vera leapt aboard. Claws gripped the co-pilot rail. Her body heat pressed close. Ozone scent sharp. Asha piled in behind. Talkesh last, rifle still trained. Jonah punched throttles. Walker surged forward. Legs pounded earth, shaking off mud. Enemy lines loomed through the haze. Skittering drones. Plasma lances flashing. "Contacts left," Asha yelled. Holofeed pinged inbound strike. Enemy gunships decloaking. Veyra barked orders, shields up, cannon hot, shells screamed down. First barrage cratered 20 meters starboard. Jonah wrenched the walker left. It barreled into the blast wave, armor shrugging shrapnel. Talkesh braced, rifle wavering. Human drives wild. Wild keeps us alive. Jonah spotted the gunships. 3 razor-winged killers diving. Their lead ship locked missiles. Veyra leaned in. Her breath rasped hot on his neck. Intercept. Jonah gunned the legs. Walker leaped a trench, cannon roaring. First shot clipped a wing. Gunship spiraled, exploding in a fireball. The other 2 strafed. Plasma scorched the hull. Alarms wailed. Jonah swerved, shielding Veyra's flank. Her claws gripped his harness, steadying him or herself. Direct hit incoming, Asha called. Jonah saw it. Missile swarm. Dead on. He twisted the walker broadside. Impact rocked them. Hull buckled, but held. Debris rained. Veyra fired the cannon manually. Second gunship shredded. Last one bugged out, trailing smoke. Silence fell, broken by cooling metal ticks. Walker halted amid smoking wrecks. Talkesh lowered his rifle. Slowly. It worked. Asha punched Jonah's arm. You drive like a core berserker. Veyra unstrapped. Her crest eased to amber. She faced Jonah, mandibles brushing his jaw as she inspected a cut on his cheek. Claws gentle, dabbing sealant from her pouch. You shielded me. Why? Jonah met her gaze. Golden optics flickered close. Machines break. People don't have to. Her claw lingered on his skin. Bodies still inches apart in the tight cockpit. Enemies do not shield queens. Guess I'm not your enemy anymore, Talkesh grunted. Shifted his weight. But his rifle stayed holstered. Asha checked the holo. Flagships the real beast. Decloaked full. Shields at 90. Weapons hot. Walker's our spearhead now. Veyra straightened. Claws retracted. Then we charge. Human, you pilot. Jonah nodded. Throttles forward again. Walker lumbered toward the front. Trench lines blurred past. Core troops rallied. Optics snapping to the revived beast. Cheers rippled. Rare for their kind. Veyra stood beside him, directing fire. Her orders cut sharp. Jonah matched her rhythm. Dodge, weave, blast. Drones swarmed. He crushed them underfoot. One breached close. Talkesh fired point blank, splattering Icar. Watch your flank. Jonah did. Repaid with a stomp. Got it. Asha patched a coolant leak mid-stride. Flux holding. Your bypass sings. Shells walked closer. Enemy already adjusted. Jonah pushed harder. The flagship loomed on the horizon. Kilometer-long dagger, void black, lances glowing. Veyra's voice dropped low, for him alone. If we fall, know this. Your ingenuity binds me, more than duty. Her claw grazed his hand on the stick. Warmth spread. Jonah grinned. Then we don't fall. Talkesh overheard, stiffened. But he manned the secondary gun without protest. Walker crested the ridge. Flagship's forward batteries lit the sky. Beams slashed down. Jonah jinked right. One grazed the leg. Servos screamed. Legs limping. Asha dove under panels. Reroute again. Veyra braced. Hold course. Incoming barrage thickened. Jonah spotted a gap in their fire pattern. Human intuition scanning overlaps. He plunged through. Core infantry surged behind, inspired. Plasma volleys joined the walker's cannon. Flagship shuddered under hits. A lance pod exploded. But it retaliated. Macro shells inbound. Grid filling the hollow red. Brace, Jonah yelled. First shell struck dirt ahead. Walker vaulted the plume. Second clipped the rear plating. They spun. Veyra hauled him steady. Bodies slammed together. Her scent enveloped him. Spice-cutting smoke. Talkesh fired wildly. Asha welded furiously. Jonah regained control. Pushed to point blank. Cannon overheated, but poured fire into the flagship's underbelly. Shields flickered. Breach. Core boarders launched, spears away. Veyra's crest blazed victory gold. We pierce it. Explosions chained across the hull. Flagship listed. Then alarms spiked anew. Secondary fleet decloaking. Dozens strong. Arty barrages converged. Jonah gripped the controls. Round 2. Veyra's claw tightened on his. Together, Talkesh loaded fresh cells. Asha sealed the leg. Walker charged into hellfire. Shells landed closer. One detonated underfoot. Legs buckled. They tumbled forward. Hull breached. Smoke poured. Vera dragged Jonah clear. Run! Troops covered, but the ground shook. Orbital strike primed. Jonah pulled her down, shielded her fall. Not without you. Her manned Vera's mandibles snapped shut inches from Jonah's face. She shoved him off her, claws scraping armor. Orbital fire rained down. Superheated slag pelted the dirt around them. Core troops scattered into trenches. Move! Vera barked. Her crest pulsed red. Rage or pain, Jonah couldn't tell. She gripped his collar, hauled him into a revetment. Talkesh covered their flank, plasma rifle spitting fire. Asha then dragged a wounded scout behind a crate stack. The strike hit. Ground erupted. Jonah clamped hands over his ears. Shockwave hurled bodies like leaves. When dust cleared, the walker lay in ruins, twisted metal blooming flames. Enemy drones hummed overhead, scanning for survivors. Vera pinned Jonah against the trench wall. Her breath rasped hot against his neck. You fight like one of us. But your enemy. Why shield me? Jonah met her golden eyes. Dust caked his beard. Habit. Can't fix a war if the boss dies. Talkesh leveled his rifle. Execute him, Marshal Queen. He bought us time. Pay it with his head. Vera's claw hovered over Jonah's throat. Her forces watched, hundreds crammed in the collapsing line. Enemy barrages hammered the ridge beyond. Drones multiplied, red sensors sweeping. She hesitated. Crest flickered uncertainty. My line breaks. Drones jam our signals. No reinforcements. You fix the walker under fire. Fix this, or die at dawn. Jonah straightened. Color contract? Make it worth my time. Her mandibles clicked. Terms? Parts crates from your salvage yard, full access, and med supplies for the human prisoners in your hold. Their mechanics too. Wasted talent, rotting. Talkesh snarled. Traitors bargain. They'll sabotage us. Asha Ven stepped forward, wiping grease from her plates. He speaks truth. Prisoners fixed my loader last cycle. Let him prove it. Vera's gaze bored into Jonah. Dawn. Deliver results. Fail, and I collar your corpse. She snapped a neural band from her belt. Cold metal locked around his neck. It hummed. Shock ready. Work. Jonah rubbed the collar. It itched like cheap wiring. Core troops parted. He jogged to the salvage yard under Talkesh's glare. Asha followed, lugging a tool crate. Craters scarred the yard. Wrecked drones littered the ground. Core and enemy alike. Jonah pried open a fused chassis. Heat vents intact. Power cells viable. He yanked wiring, sparks flying. Asha handed him a plasma torch. Drones hunt heat. Our walkers glow like beacons. Exactly. Jonah stripped a drone's sensor array. Human fingers danced over circuits, soldering joints no claw could finesse. Decoy rig. Fakes our signatures. Draws fire. Talkesh loomed. Magic or bomb? Jonah ignored him. He fused cells into a frame scavenged from a scout bike, rigged vents to pulse hot exhaust, mimicked walker treads with salvaged rollers, added false comm chatter, looped enemy signals he'd cracked mid-battle. Hours blurred, barrages shook the ground. Jonah sweated through his flight suit, color buzzed warnings, neural prod teasing nerves. He calibrated the hollow emitter, last. It projected ghost walkers on drone scopes. Done. Jonah wiped hands. The rig squatted like a mechanical toad, ugly, but alive. Deploy it forward. They'll waste ammo on phantoms. Vera arrived at dusk. Crest neutral blue. Troops massed behind her. Enemy drones thickened the sky. Swarms blotting stars. Show me. She nodded to Asha. Asha powered the rig. It whirred. Exhaust bloomed hot. Sensors lit green on her pad. Vera signaled launch. Core haulers slung the decoy over the ridge. Rollers churned dirt. It trundled into no man's land. Hollow projections flickering. 3 full walkers, cannons primed. Drones pivoted. Red locks snapped onto ghosts. The salvo inbound. Missiles streaked. Boom. Explosions chained across empty ground. Decoy vaporized in glory. But the real salvo followed. 20 heavies, grid saturation. Enemy wasted it all. No hits on core lines. Cheers erupted. Troops pounded plates. Vera's crest blazed gold. She turned to Jonah. Claw gripped his shoulder. Firm, not crushing. It worked. How? Pattern recognition? Jonah shrugged. Humans spot gaps in noise. You fight clean. We improvise. Talkesh lowered his rifle. Eyes narrowed respect. Asha grinned, mandibles wide. More rigs. We hold the front. Vera pulled Jonah close. Her scent cut the cordite, spice and steel. Contract holds, but prisoners stay locked, tools only. Jonah held her gaze. They're dying, meds, or next fix takes longer. Your call, Marshal Queen. She released him, crest dimmed. Dawn inspection. Prove their worth too. Troops surged forward under drone cover. Lines stabilized. Jonah watched Vera lead the charge. Grace in armor, spear flashing. Her glance back lingered. Trust sparked, fragile as the collar's hum. But secondary alarms wailed. Fresh enemy signatures. Dropships inbound. Heavy class. Vera's voice crackled over comms. Rook. Armor-piercing swarm. Fix it. Jonah grabbed tools. Talkesh tossed him a rifle. Earn your air, human. Asha sealed a crate. With me. Day ran into the night. Barrage thickened. Jonah's mind raced. Dropship vents, weak points. Human ingenuity versus alien storm. Vera fought on the ridge. Jonah would meet her there, or die trying. Med Bay first. Prisoners waited, gaunt faces lit by his approach. Time to work, he said. Keys from Asha clicked locks. One prisoner, Lena, clutched his arm. They'll kill us. Not today. Jonah handed stimpaks. Fix their walkers. Show 'em humans build trust. One bolt at a time. Outside, dropship shadows loomed. Vera's spear thrust true. First kill. But dozens more dove. Jonah welded furiously. New rig. Anti-swarm net. EMP bursts tuned to vents. Asha tested the pulse. Hot work. Talkesh covered the door. No betrayal. Watch. Jonah launched drones of his own. Rigged decoys with teeth. They swarmed up. Enemy dropships locked false targets. EMP bloomed. Shields fizzled. Core flak shredded hulls. Vera's calm crackled triumph. Rook. Front holds. He smiled through sweat. Collar loosened. Neural band slack. Her trust, earned in fire. But a dropship broke through. Crashed near the yard. Troops spilled elate borders. Talkesh fired. Jonah grabbed a pipe wrench. Fought back to back. Vera arrived. Spear pierced one. She shielded Jonah from a blade. Mine. Claw to claw, they cleared the breach. Blood-slicked dirt. Hers green on his hand. Dawn broke. Line held. Vera faced him amid wreckage.
Contract renews. No collar.
Jonah nodded. Partners? Her mandibles brushed his jaw. Tentative. Prove it keeps working. Talkesh grunted approval. Asha clapped his back. Warfront stabilized, but deeper scans pinged. Enemy carrier. Massive. Incoming. Jonah eyed the horizon. Next problem. Vera's claw laced his fingers. Together. Vera's claw squeezed Jonah's hand. Refit my armor, Rook. Night raid on the carrier launches at dusk. Jonah nodded, eyes on the horizon where the massive enemy shadow grew. He pulled free and strode to the armory yard. Sparks flew from his torch as he yanked panels off her standing battle rig. Heavy plating clattered to the dirt. Asha then appeared at his elbow, toolkit in grip. Carrier's flak shield needs cracking. Vera leads the breach team. Modular braces, Jonah said. Lighter. Faster joints. Her old rig's too bulky for swarm dives. He scavenged core alloy struts from wrecked walkers. Torch hissed. Bent metal glowed cherry red. He welded flex joints, threading micro-servos ripped from drone husks. Grease smeared his arms. No time for polish. These would pivot like human exosuits, not alien tanks. Talkesh loomed in the doorway, plasma rifle slung low. His compound eyes tracked every weld. Human tricks fail under fire. Jonah wiped sweat. Watch her move first. Vera strode in an hour later. Dusk bleeding purple across the yard. She stripped to undersuit. Scaled hide gleaming, mandibles clicking approval at the brace prototype clamped to her thigh. Mount it. Jonah knelt, His fingers brushed her scales as he locked the servo clamps. Warmth pulsed through her skin, alien and alive. She didn't flinch. He tested the tension. Snapped the joint wide, then locked. Perfect flex. Full suit, she ordered. He plated the braces over her shoulders, elbows, knees, lighter by half. She flexed, hinged smooth. No drag. Asha handed over the helmet. Test range prepped. Live rounds from forward pickets. Vera grabbed Jonah's collar. You stand with me. Talkesh's rifle twitched. Hi, Marshal. Obey. Her voice cracked like a whip. Jonah followed her to the berm. Tracers stitched the air from enemy lines 2 clicks out. Core gunners hunkered in pits, barking fire. Vera vaulted the berm, brace whirring soft. She charged the test zone. Open kill box raked by sim drones mimicking borders. Enemy fire converged. Jonah crouched behind her, part steady. She dodged left, brace pivoted instant. Spear lanced, drone shredded midair. Feel it, she growled. She seized his hand, slammed it against the brace on her forearm. Fresh drone gore slicked the metal, green ichor and sparking circuits. Hot, sticky. Her kill, inches from his skin. Trust your work, she said. Mandibles parted in a fierce grin. More drones dove. Vera spun, braces singing. She gutted too. Jonah's rig held. Joints flexed without bind, but a glint caught his eye. The fresh welds reflected tracer glow. Enemy auto turrets locked on. Beams converged on her braced shoulder. Down, Jonah lunged. Tackled her behind a slag heap. Plasma scorched the air where her head had been. Shards pinged his back. She shoved him off, spear up. Fool. I command. Brace shines like a beacon. He pointed. Drones circled the exposed rig, sensors pinging the reflective alloy. Cover it, or they paint you. Talkesh's fire barked from the berm, dropping too. Asha yelled, Suppress! Vera snarled. Claws raked the brace, dulled the shine in seconds. She rose, charged again, spear blurred. Drones exploded in sequence. Last one crumpled at her feet. She whirled on Jonah, grabbed his wrist, pressed his palm to the gore-smeared brace again. Touch what kills for me. Heat radiated from the metal. Her pulse thrummed beneath. Green blood flecked his skin. Talkesh lowered his rifle. It held. Asha jogged up, scanner beeping. Joints at 98%. No shear. Vera released Jonah. Her claw lingered on his arm. Raid launches. You ride my flank. Jonah straightened. Need drone overwatch. All rig spotters. She nodded once, sharp. Earned. Night fell hard. Dropships thrummed overhead. Core squadrons arrowing for the carrier's underbelly. Jonah strapped into Vera's lead gunship, brace tools at his feet. Talkesh sat opposite, eyes unblinking. Asha piloted, cursing wind shear. Carrier loomed in scans. Kilometer-long behemoth, flak webs pulsing. Vera stood at the ramp controls, breach at the ventral lock. Rook, keep my armor moving. Gunship shuddered into dive. Enemy interceptors swarmed. Jonah patched a jury rig to the door gun, boosted its cycle rate. Tracers poured out. 2 fighters bloomed fireballs. Talkesh grunted. Human gun sings. Vera's spear tapped Jonah's shoulder. Flank me on deck. Ramp dropped. Vacuum winds howled. They leaped into the carrier's hangar. Core elites crashing beside. Boarders met them. Hulking enemy troops in void-sealed hulks. Vera led. Braces flexed like lightning. Spear pierced a boarder's visor. She spun. Gutted another. Jonah covered right. Pipe rifle barking. Crude slugs punching joints. One boarder lunged at her blind side. Jonah smashed its knee with a dropped tool crate. Vera finished it. Flank holds. She commed. Deeper in. Corridor traps sprung. Bulkheads slamming. Jonah spotted the servo hydraulics. Torch out. Sliced lines. Doors froze open. Talkesh blasted through. Your eyes see machine hearts. Asha sealed a hull breach behind, pushing core. Enemy reinforcements poured from vents. Elite swarm. Blades whirring. Vera's squad faltered. One core went down. Scales rent. Jonah yanked a power conduit. Ripped wiring. Sparks flew. EMP jury rig from his pack. Pulse bloomed. Enemy blades locked stiff. Vera's spear danced. Cleared 5. She hauled the wounded core up. Move! They hit the bridge core. Carrier's heart, shield generator throbbing. Veyra planted charges. But alarms wailed, reinforcements flooded, double strength. Brace jam, she hissed. A microservo whined on her elbow. Jonah dropped prone. Fingers flew, popped the panel, swapped a pin. Go! She rose. Spear thrust. Jonah fired beside her, slugs chewing armor. Talkesh guarded the door. Asha wired the detonator. Last border. Charged Veyra. Jonah shoved her aside, took the blade graze on his arm. Blood welled, red against green deck. She roared, spear impaled it clean through, grabbed Jonah. Claws pinned his shoulders. Mandibles grazed his neck. Not bite but claim. Mine to shield. Charges armed. They bolted. Gunship extracted hot carrier, erupting behind in plasma fireballs. Back at base. Dawn again. Veyra faced Jonah in the yard. Her claw traced his wound. Prove it keeps working, she murmured. Echo of before, but closer. He met her eyes. Always does. Talkesh clapped his back. First time. Asha grinned. Human bolts hold empires. Scans pinged anew. Enemy reinforcements. Full fleet inbound. Jonah eyed Veyra's brace. Still gore-flecked. Bigger refit needed. Her mandibles brushed his jaw. Firm now. Together. Touch the next kill. Jonah twisted the final torque bolt on Veyra's brace. Metal clicked home. He wiped grease from his hands and stepped back. The workshop hummed. Drone arms whirring overhead. Tool racks gleaming under red emergency lights. Scans blared from the base console. Enemy fleet closing fast. 2 hours out. Footsteps scraped the deck. Talkesh ducked through the hatch, mandibles tight. His security harness bristled with fresh charge packs. Human. Progress? Jonah nodded at the brace. Test it. Full flex. Talkesh ignored the bench. He circled the coolant drum, claws probing seams. Unit whispers. You hoard parts. For sabotage? Jonah snorted. Fixing your queen's gear, not plotting. Talkesh's eyes flicked to Jonah's pad, charging on the workbench. He leaned close. Too close, blocking the light. A faint click echoed. Jonah tensed. Talkesh straightened, mandibles parting in a false grin. See it stays loyal. He slapped Jonah's shoulder, hard, then strode out. Door hissed shut. Jonah exhaled, something off. Air tasted sharper, like ozone burn. He scanned the room. Coolant drum vent puffed steam. Wrong angle. He knelt, pried the access panel. Wires snaked inside. Not factory. Red charge pack pulsed. Timer dark. Remote trigger. Footsteps again. Asha Ven poked her head in, toolkit slung low. Brace ready. Veyra wants. Down. Jonah yanked her arm. She dropped beside him. He traced the circuit. Detonator link blinked on a subnode. His pad pinged. Auto capture engaged. He sliced the log stream. Data flooded. Talkesh's security code stamped the arming sequence. Timestamp. 2 minutes ago. Frame job. Treason pinned on Jonah's prints. Asha's eyes widened. Kresh spawn. He plants this? Blames the soft skin? Jonah nodded, fingers steady. He bridged the safeties. Snip, reroute, clamp. Charge went inert. Logs mine. Proof. Alarms spiked base-wide. Veyra's voice boomed over comms. All units, muster yard. Now. Jonah pocketed the pad. Asha grabbed the brace. They ran. Yard lights stabbed the dawn haze. Core warriors formed ranks. 200 spears, armor scarred from the carrier raid. Veyra stood central, her new brace gleaming on her elbow. Talkesh flanked her. Chest puffed. Jonah pushed through the line with Asha. Whispers rippled. Human traitor. Parts thief. Veyra's gaze locked on Jonah. Mandibles flared. Report. Talkesh stepped forward. Majesty. Human hordes, explosives. Workshop rigged for your death. I found it. Laughter barked from the ranks. Jonah held up his pad. Found this first. He synced to the yard holoscreen. Log projected. Talkesh's code arming the charge. Timestamp synced to his harness cam. Gasps cut the air. Talkesh froze. Lies. Human hack. Quiet. Veyra's spear tip hovered at his throat. She scanned the log. Claws flexed. Your code. Your path. treason. Warriors shifted. Spears lowered toward Talkesh. He snarled, claws twitching for his sidearm. Asha stepped up, rifle leveled. Captain. Hands. Veyra's voice cracked like thunder. Talkesh, stripped of command, confined. Asha Ven, you hold security. She thrust her spear down.
Unit!
The human saves us again. Trust his hands, or die doubting. Cheers erupted. Fists pounded chest plates. Jonah stood still, heat rising on his neck. Veyra turned to him. Her claw grazed his bandaged arm. You, personal detail. Now. She marched him to her command tent. Asha sealed the flap behind. Lock clicked. Inside, strategy hollows flickered. Enemy fleet icons swarming. Veyra faced him. Brace whirred as she flexed. It holds. You hold. Jonah met her eyes, golden slits, unblinking. Logs clean. Talkesh wanted me gone. You safe. Her mandibles brushed his jaw. Close, heat radiated from her plates. Not just me. Front collapses without fixes. She tapped the holo. Shields fail. Guns jam. Your kind? Give me the specs. Jonah pulled his pad. We'll bolt it. She pinned his shoulders to the bulkhead. Claws firm, not cutting. Prove more. Her breath ghosted his skin. Spice and plasma. Lips parted. Mandibles framing a kiss that wasn't, yet. Mine to shield. You said it holds empires. Jonah's pulse hammered. He cupped her plated cheek. Thumb traced a scar. Always does. Together. Mandibles grazed his neck. Claim again, deeper. Her spear clattered aside. Body pressed, armor to flesh. Fleet hits in 90. Show me. He nodded, pulled schematics. Her claws tapped inputs beside his. Sparks of trust flew faster than fear. Outside, Asha barked orders. Perimeter tight. Humans cleared. Tent seals hummed. Veyra's claw slipped under his shirt. Wound tugged. Hers now. Next kill. Ours. Jonah grinned. Refit first. Then we touch it. Hollow pinged. Enemy vanguard breached outer scan. Veyra rose. Brace perfect. Grabbed her spear. Door unlocked, but her eyes lingered. Stay close, Rook, or I drag you. He followed. Base shook. First salvos inbound. Asha waved them to the gun deck. Shields dropping. Jonah way ahead. He vaulted a rail. Tools out. They recovered, spear flashing at shadows. Talkesh's old guards watched wary. One nodded. Trust spread. Deck shuddered. Enemy boarding pods slammed hull. Veyra roared. Hold! Jonah dropped to a shield node. Panels sparked. Fingers danced. Swap relay purge glitch. Online! Shields flared blue. Pods vaporized midair. Warriors cheered. Mandibles nipped his ear. More. Asha patched comms. Fleet pivots. They fear the human bolts. Veyra's laugh rumbled. Spear ready. Jonah's pistol hot in hand. Front held. But core breach alarms wailed deeper in. Brace jam? Veyra flexed. Worse. Jonah eyed the hatch. Core's next. With me? Her claw locked his. Always. They charged. Enemy breached the engine bay. Blaster fire chewed bulkheads. Veyra's spear impaled the lead boarder. Jonah flanked. Slugs punching vitals. Asha wired barricades behind. Core throbbed. Plasma leaking. Jonah dove under conduits. Veyra, pin here. She jammed her spear, blocking a vent. Claws shielded his back. Boarders swarmed. One lunged. Her brace snapped its neck. Yours! He sealed the leak. Core stabilized. Alarms died. Warriors poured in. Fleet retreated on scans. Veyra pulled Jonah close amid cheers. You turned fear to fire. He traced her mandibles. You give me the fight. Asha grinned from the door. Personal detail works. Talkesh rots in brig. Veyra's eyes burned. Lock it again. Later. Pods rained anew. Bigger wave. Jonah nodded. Together. Spear and wrench met the storm. Trust sealed tighter than any bolt. Blaster fire chewed the spire's base. Jonah rolled behind a buckled console. Wrench in one hand, pistol in the other. Veyra's spear flashed. Two enemy scouts crumpled, chitin cracking. She yanked him upright. Her mandibles clicked close to his ear. Core array, top level, Leet's blind without it. He nodded, scanning the lattice of exposed girders twisting up through the storm-lashed heights. Shattered panes rained shards. Enemy pods screamed overhead, dumping more boarders. One tower amid the rubble-choked skyline. One signal to rally her fleet, or watch the warfront collapse. "Cover me to the climb," Jonah said. He slung his tool satchel tight. Thayra's eyes locked his, fierce and unyielding. Her claw gripped his shoulder, hard enough to bruise, gentle enough to promise. "You climb, I hold." They charged. Jonah's boots pounded ferrocrete slick with fuel runoff. A boarder lunged from the shadows. Thayra's spear pinned its throat mid-leap. He fired twice, dropping another. Asha Ven burst from a side hatch, her armorer's rig humming. "Fleet ghosts on scan. Spire's your shot. Go." Asha's plasma cutter sliced a barricade path. Jonah vaulted it first. Thayra hauled him over the lip. Enemy fire stitched the wall behind. The exterior lattice loomed. Alien fiber cables dangling like severed veins, pulsing faint emergency glows. Wind howled through breaches, whipping debris. Jonah hooked his harness to the first rung. Signals glitched at the splice tower. "Human solder'll bridge it. Trust the fix." Thayra braced below, spear sweeping borders swarming the base. "Prove it, human." Her voice cut the gale, but her stance shielded his ascent. He climbed. Lattice groaned under his weight. No harness checks, no safety lines. Just grip, shift, climb. Alien alloy bit his palms, but he'd patched worse under fire. 50 meters up. Cables frayed, sparking. Enemy pod detonated nearby. Shockwave slammed him against the frame. He clung, breath steady. Below, Thayra roared. Spear thrust, border bodies piled. Asha laid suppressing fire, her bolts vaporizing climbers attempting the lattice. Jonah reached the splice node. Exposed circuits hummed erratically. Core Empire tech. Finicky quantum weave. He unpacked his field solder. Human alloy. Forged for zero jury rigs. No time for finesse. He stripped the alien fiber with pliers, exposing crystal conduits. Solder gun hissed to life. Wind clawed at him. A boarder scaled 10 meters below, claws scraping. Jonah kicked a loose panel free. It tumbled, crushing the threat. Focus. He fused the splice. Human metal bonding alien crystal in a glowing seam. Sparks flew. Redouts flickered green. "Signal threading!" he shouted down. Thayra impaled another boarder, her armor steamed from near misses. "Force it live!" He yanked the manual override. Arrays whined, aligning. But alarms blared. Enemy counterhack probing. Boarders breached the mid-levels, clawing upward. Thayra leaped to meet them, spear a blur. One slashed her thigh plate. She snapped its arm, drove the blade through its chest. Blood sprayed. She didn't falter. Jonah's fingers flew, purged the glitch. Reroute power. Human intuition bridged the gaps their tech couldn't. Signal locked. Comms hot, patching you through. Thayra's voice boomed over his earpiece now. Fleet-wide, all units, High Marshal, Queen Thayra Core, ceasefire corridor, Grid 7 Alpha. Funneled them into the kill box. Counterstrike in 5. Static crackled. Then, confirmations flooded. Her shattered fleet pivoting. Shield snapping online. Enemy signature scattered on his makeshift scan. But boarders poured thicker. One crested Jonah's level. Massive, vibroclaws whirring. He fired his pistol dry. It staggered, lunged. Thayra vaulted the gap, claws digging lattice. Her spear punched through its back. She hauled Jonah clear as it plummeted. They tumbled into the core array chamber, door sealed behind. Jonah's heart hammered. Her blood slicked his suit. Hers, not his. He traced the gash on her thigh. "Hold still." She gripped his wrist. Mandibles parted in a rare grin. "No time. Signal's yours." He nodded, diving into the console. Final push. Transmit the corridor offer. Enemy command wavered on scans. Her gambit forcing their hand. Jonah keyed the burst. Coordinates locked. Counterstrike window primed. Fleets converged. Explosions rocked the spire. Enemy pods ignited mid-drop. Thayra pulled him against her side, claws protective over his chest. "You climbed death. Gave me the war." He met her gaze. thumb brushing her jaw ridge. You held it open. Asha's voice crackled. Fleets through. But enemy heavies inbound. Spire's priority target. Byra's spear arm tensed around him. Jonah checked his satchel. Last charges set. Evac shaft below. We drop now. She nodded, eyes burning brighter. Enemy fire rattled the hull. One tower decided the war. They ran for it together. Blaster bolts shredded the evac hatch as they slid in. Jonah wedged his wrench, sealing it partial. Freefall gripped them. Spire plummeting through Atmo? No. Controlled burn. Emergency grav kicked in late. Bayra braced him against the wall, her body a shield. Asha. Status. Pods locking on. Talkesh broke bridge. Says humans the breach. Asha's cutter whined over comms. Ignore him. Extracting. Talkesh. Jonah's jaw set. The enforcer's grudge lingered, even chained. Descent shuddered. Enemy grapples latched. Hull breached below. Veyra kicked the inner hatch. They dropped into sublevels, sparks flying. Boarders waited. She charged first. Spear claimed two. Jonah flanked wrench-cracking helmets. Human reflexes dodged claws meant for bulkier frames. They fought back-to-back. Her strength, his precision. Asha met them at the base ramp. Shuttle hot, fleets counter-striking. Corridors a slaughter. Veyra clasped Asha's arm. Good work. Enemy heavy breached the far wall, plasma cannon charging. Jonah spotted the overheat vent. There. Jam it! Veyra hurled her spear. It wedged perfect. Cannon backfired, vaporizing the brute. They piled into the shuttle. Thrusters roared. Spire erupted behind. Towers fall. Wars turn. Inside, Veyra slumped beside Jonah. Her claw found his hand, squeezed. No words. Trust sealed in blood and bolts. Asha piloted, grinning over shoulder. Human bolts win wars. Talkesh's yelling sedition, again. Veyra's mandibles clicked. Let him. Jonah's mine now. He leaned into her warmth. Pistol recharged. Scans showed enemy retreat. But heavier signatures massed beyond the corridor. Bigger storm brewed. Next fight? Jonah asked. Her eyes gleamed. Ours. Shuttle banked into the fray. Spear and wrench ready. Veyra's boot hit the command deck plating. Alarms wailed as the shuttle hatch hissed open. Jonah Rook leaped out beside her, wrench gripped like a blade. Enemy drones swarmed the horizon, but her vanguard held the line. Spears flashing, plasma bolts cracking air. Form council, Veyra roared over comms. Her voice cut through the din. Talkesh materialized first, claws flexing near his pistol. Asha Ven followed, hauling a crate of munitions. Jonah stood last, collar glinting under his scavenged vest. No fear in his stance, just focus. They clustered around the hollow table in the forward bunker. Projections flickered. Collapsing warfront. Enemy heavies massing. Veyra's mandibles snapped. Her authority teetered. One wrong word, and mutiny brewed. Talkesh struck first. Execute the human, now. He breached the spire with us. Sedition risk. Asha crossed her arms. He jammed the cannon. Saved our hides. Veyra raised a claw. Silence fell. She met Jonah's eyes. Steady, unblinking. Human normalcy. Extraordinary. Jonah Rook saved my command. Spear and wrench cleared the borders. His vent jam vaporized the heavy. Without him, this deck is enemy dirt. Gasps rippled. Talkesh's crest flared. Queen. Fact. Veyra cut him. Spires fall. Our gain. Fleet regroups because of it. Jonah shifted. No smirk. No boast. He wiped grease from his hands. Veyra watched the motion. Precise. Unhurried. Her claw itched to touch it again. She activated the commendation rite. Hollow bloomed. Medal of clasp. Highest field honor. Rook. Accept. He shook his head. No medal. Council froze. Talkesh hissed. Asha leaned in. Veyra's spine stiffened. Refusal insults. Jonah met her gaze. Calm. Stubborn. Earned it fixing your rigs under fire. But medals don't fix laws. Right protections for human prisoners. No collars. No summary kills. Trial by merit, not species. Ink it now, or I walk. Talkesh lunged. Veyra's spear blocked him mid-stride. Stand down. Her mind raced. Prisoner demands from a captive, insane. Yet his fixes had patched her walkers mid-barrage, repaired shield gens when techs failed, treated her wounded like his own crew, bandages over burns, no questions. Asha nodded. He's right. Collars breed sabotage. Merit proves loyalty. Vera weighed it. Warfront crumbled. Enemy signatures swelled. Dreadnoughts inbound. She needed his ingenuity. Needed him. Agreed. Her claw slammed the hollow seal. Law etched. Human captives accord. Protections granted. All prisoners, human or not. Jonah exhaled. First crack in his calm. Trust flickered there. Talkesh snarled. Madness. He's poison. Vera ignored him. She keyed her collar remote. Jonah's neckband clicked open. Fell to the deck, free. Council murmured. Her pulse thrummed. Risk everything? Rook, she said. Voice low, for him alone. Place at my side. Chief, fixer, frontline ally. Spear and wrench as one. His eyes widened fractionally. Humans hid tells well. He glanced at the hollow. Enemy fleet closing. Drones breached outer pickets. Explosions rocked the bunker. Terms? Jonah asked. Full access. My armorer corps under you. Veto on executions. And her claw brushed his vest. Heat rose. Mine. Asha grinned. Talkesh boiled silent. Jonah nodded. Accepted. Council erupted. Cheers drowned Talkesh's protests. Vera pulled Jonah forward. Public right demanded it. Armor clasp. Oath bond. Warrior to warrior. Her chest plate gleamed. Clasp port open. He reached up. Human hands. Grease smeared. Steady. No tremble. His fingers traced her scales. Warm. Precise. Click. Clasp locked. Gold sigil gleamed. Vera core plus Jonah Rook. Gasps turned to roars. Her forces saw. Alliance sealed. Not prisoner. Partner. Talkesh stormed out. Asha clapped Jonah's shoulder. Rigged the walkers. Dreads inbound. Jonah grinned. First real one. On it. Vera's claw found his hand again. Squeezed. His grip returned. Firm. Human strong. Warmth spread. No words needed. Explosions rattled the deck. Drones poured through the breach. Vera hefted her spear. Jonah snatched his wrench. They charged out together. Walkers idled in the yard. Legs seized from plasma scars. Jonah vaulted the first chassis. Asha. Flux couplings fried. Asha tossed tools. Your fix? He tore panels. Sparks flew. Bypass the relays. Reroute to AUX. Vera covered them, spear impaling a drone mid-dive. Her vanguard rallied. Trust in her choice. Spread like fire. Jonah's hands blurred. Walker hummed alive. Stomped a drone flat. Second! Vera barked. Talkesh appeared at the perimeter directing fire. His glare hit Jonah. No attack. Yet, enemy dreadnought dropped from orbit. Shadow engulfed the yard. Hull guns charged. Jonah leaped to the command walker. Vera! Overcharge the mains! Draw their fire! She vaulted up beside him. Clasp gleamed between them. Risky. Trust the bolts. His eyes locked hers. No fear. Partnership. She keyed it. Walker surged. Beams lanced down. Hull glowed red-hot. Asha's voice crackled. Shields at 10. Jonah jammed levers. Now! Vent burst. Vera punched the release. Plasma erupted skyward. Dreadnought's guns overloaded. Secondary blasts ripped its belly. It plummeted. Crash shook the ground. Wreckage smoked. Vanguard cheered. Jonah slumped against her, breath ragged. Her arm wrapped him, protective. Possessive. Talkesh approached. Pistol holstered. It worked. This time. Vera's mandibles clicked. Every time. Jonah straightened. More inbound. Get the heavies prepped. Asha dragged cables. Forces moved with new rhythm. Human ingenuity meshed with core discipline. Night fell. Campfires lit the yard. Vera sat by the command fire. Jonah beside her. Clasp caught the glow. Her claw rested on his knee. Natural now. You demanded laws? She murmured. Why? He shrugged. Fixes last longer with trust. Collars break more than necks. Talkesh watched from shadows. Asha shared rations. Human-style flatbread, traded for her protein slabs. Scans pinged. Heavier signatures. Invasion force. Vera stood. Council at dawn. Plans. Jonah rose with her. Hand brushed hers. Spark jumped. Dawn broke with thunder. Enemy landers dotted the ridge. Vera's forces formed ranks. Jonah tinkered at the gun line, recalibrating turrets. Talkesh pulled her aside. Queen, he's free. Execute before betrayal. She faced him. Spear level. Betray me. He clasps my armor. Talkesh backed off. Grudging nod. Landers hit dirt. Troops poured out. Claws bigger. Armor thicker. Vera charged. Spear first. Jonah flanked on a walker. Wrench doubling his club. He cracked a foe's helm. Dodged counterclaw. Human speed. Blinding. Asha sealed a breach. Turrets. Hot. Plasma rained. Foes faltered, but a mega-heavy lumbered forward. Cannon primed. Unstoppable. Jonah yelled over comms. Weak joint left knee servos. Spirit.